Hello to all of you amazing web slingers. Welcome to Livin On The Edge, the podcast all about our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We are your hosts. My name is Alec. You can follow me at the Alec Thorne on Twitter.
And I'm Brian. You can follow me at Redo Reviews on Twitter.
And if you want to follow the podcast, you can follow our podcast at LOTE_podcast. If you want to follow On Comics Ground on Twitter, you can follow at On Comics Ground. And you can go to our website where we post daily reviews, news, editorials, all that jazz. So, Brian, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a new schedule for the month, so I'm just working on adjusting my sleep schedule to work with it.
Good. Hopefully you'll get it back on track, as you were telling me earlier. It's fucked.
Yeah, because this month my classes were 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Now they are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so that's a very sudden shift in change. And
yeah.
I got melatonin next to my bed to take before I go to sleep to help with that.
Relatable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surviving. I'm finally going home to Thanksgiving. It's the first break I've had since my car accident. So
and
take that as you
call that a break.
An unplanned break. We'll call it that.
Fair.
The break where I broke my car. Anyway,
it was a break of sort.
Yeah. But anyway, no, I'm doing fine. My leg is feeling weird for some reason. I was telling him there is something sticky on my leg, and no, that is not a euphemism for anything.
I didn't think you were gonna bring it up.
But it's like when you get food, like when you get jam or something on some kind of weird food or whatever, like some kind of household thing that, like, I don't know how to describe it, but you should know what I'm talking about because we've all experienced this. But it's like if you have glue on your leg or something. So, I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's a flesh-eating parasite, and maybe I'm going to die. Who knows? But anyway.
Maybe it's venom.
Oh, God. Knock, knock. Let the pain in. But anyway, this episode is a pretty big milestone. It's our 20th episode. Yay! Ooh, yeah. Okay. I did not think this time last year, I did not think I'd be doing this at all. Last year, around a year ago is when James approached me about doing this. And I just didn't know if I would be able to handle it, but thankfully I have, and y'all have been listening in, y'all have been following the Twitter. I will make it my New Year's resolution to post on it more. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us and sticking through all the different co-hosts I've had. So
I don't know what number I am, but I've been here for only 5 episodes.
Number 573.
20 episodes? What?
Yeah. I just switch them off in between intervals of 10 minutes or whatever. No,
oh, man.
So you don't fuck up now. Don't mess up.
Oh man.
I can have you out like that. I can Thanos you away. But anyway, but yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much for sticking with us and for listening every 2 weeks. The schedule's been kind of hectic, so I can't even say every 2 weeks, but no, seriously, thank you. So we have a little something special in mind for this episode, which you can probably tell because of the thumbnail and the title. But before we get to that, we got some recent comics and news to talk about. First one is Amazing Spider-Man number 34. Brian, have you read that?
I have.
What did you think about it?
I'm interested to see where the 2099 stuff is going, because it's clearly got something to do with that thing that Peter's lab partner made that can kind of tell the future.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not subtle at all.
No, the issue literally ends with a very close-up view of it. So, but yeah, is that, and also Doom 2099 is apparently the one who sent Miguel back in the first place.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, and speaking of Doom, he is not happy that someone tried to have him assassinated and is now sending an army of Doombots to get justice.
So basically, I guess he's going to take over, but we'll see how that turns out. Because the villains always win, right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, but Doom should win at least once or twice. I'm just saying.
Probably. The only villain who wins is Arthur Fleck. But anyway, yeah, I thought this was interesting. I think it's kind of strange that like as soon as Miguel gets to Peter, he's just like, okay, vanishing, bye.
Yeah,
he's like that Vine where the guy's like doing the peace sign and then he just disappears.
Yeah, basically. I guess he only had so much time in the past, because I guess 2099 is getting wiped from existence or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know how it's gonna... Like, my thing I'm wondering is, like, when are they gonna, like... What's gonna happen when, like, Marvel Comics is still going on in the year 2099 and Peter Parker is still around because they will not let him go?
No,
what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen at that point?
Yeah, I did make a tweet about that because someone actually asked a similar question, and I had like 3 ideas of what they'll probably end up doing.
What are the ideas?
One of which is they do what DC did with Legion of Superheroes and just retcon them to be a century later. So instead of 2099, it's 2199.
So we'll do the Matrix thing.
Exactly. It doesn't sound as cool, but that's one way they could do it. Another way is they just split permanently. In this issue, Miguel makes it clear that 2099 is the future, like not an alternate one. It is the future. I think what they're going to do is they're just going to split it off into like an alternate timeline, like permanently.
Yeah, that might be the way to go. But
and the other one I had was they somehow like just do what they did with the Ultimate Universe and just take 2099 and just slap it into the main time as it is.
That would be interesting.
Like Nueva York is just a location in Marvel now where 2099 people live.
Oh God, that would be interesting. But I don't know, like. That's so far away. That's literally 80 years away from now. So
yeah, we're all saying this under the impression that not only will Marvel Comics still be around, but we will still be around.
Oh, I'm gonna be dead before I'm like 50. I know it. I know it 100%.
Oh, same. I will be long dead before Miguel's time. But
my hope is that I make it to the 100th anniversary of Doctor. That's all I hope for. After that, I can die in peace. But anyway, and no, like, yeah, like I said in the last episode, I'm just sick of the events. I'm really just kind of sick of the events.
Yeah, because we'll mention it in a couple minutes, but Absolute Carnage literally just ended and they're already doing another event.
Yeah, and we still have incoming for like the end of the year or whatever, whenever that's coming out. It's soon. I don't know when it's going to be though.
I'm going to look it up because I really hope that this will be like the last year of constant events.
Yeah, because
I think that this year in particular is the worst Marvel has ever been with it.
Oh, absolutely. Like they don't feel special anymore because it's
They
just
really,
so
they
many
really
of them.
don't. And like that, and also a lot of them just kind of feel like arcs that could have been told in one of the solo books.
Like Absolute Carnage, I like it a lot, but it could have just been an arc of Venom.
Yeah, that is my main. As much as I enjoyed it, that is the biggest problem with it. It could have just been an arc in Venom.
Because, like, yeah, other heroes show up, but they could have literally just shown up in Venom's book.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's holding them back from doing that. So,
Yeah. Oh, Incoming comes out on Christmas.
oh boy, I can't wait to see how their Heroes in Crisis ripoff turns out.
Yay.
Why, out of all things to copy, why Heroes in? I don't know. This is how we find out. This is how we find out Miles Morales is actually a killer.
That fucking vision from Civil War 2 is gonna come to pass. Just you watch.
Ugh. Less said about both Civil Wars, the better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just ready to get back to the main storyline for Peter with Kindred and all the other stuff going on, but we'll see. But jumping from that, we have like we talked about, we have Absolute Carnage number 5. This is the quote-unquote end, even though it really isn't, because technically Venom number 20 is actually the end. But
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But what did you think about Absolute Carnage number 5?
I thought it was pretty good. I did like, I like the things that happened in it. It's just it had a very abrupt ending. Like,
yeah.
I have no other way of putting it. It just kind of ends.
Yeah, I don't know. Like from what I think Venom number 20 is supposed to be like the legit ending for it, which in that case it's just kind of weird, and it just further shows that Absolute Carnage just should have been an arc of Venom.
Yeah. They really should have just called the Venom issue Absolute number 6.
Yeah, because that's essentially all it is, but at least all I think it's gonna be. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, like I think it's cool that Eddie literally sacrifices the world for his son.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
But now Noel is coming. Noel's fucking coming. I don't know when he's gonna come, but
he woke up and literally blew up a planet by stretching.
So who knows how this is gonna go? Because Eddie had this much trouble with Cletus. What's gonna happen when Noel shows up? Because that's gonna be interesting, but I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I don't know. I feel like whatever happens with Noel has to be like the end of Cates' run with Venom.
Yeah. Like, as great as it's been, his end should be after Null is defeated or whatever.
Yeah, because like I love this run, but I don't see it going on for much longer.
Yeah, I feel like once the big bad is done, there's really not much else Cates should be able to do.
Yeah, because Cates is in vogue right now. He did Guardians. He's doing Thor now.
He is probably Marvel's biggest writer right now after Bendis left.
I can see him like easily taking Spider-Man because he has said like on record he will not take like a secondary book. He will not take a miniseries. He does not want to play second fiddle. He has like a whole plan mapped out for how he wants to do Spider-Man. So
I wouldn't mind to see what he does whenever Spencer finishes up his run.
Whatever happens, I just hope Spencer does not go on for the same amount of time that Dan Slott did, because that was way too long.
Yeah, agree. As much as I've been enjoying his run so far, he should not get a decade-long one like he did.
I think like 5 years is a good enough amount of time.
Yeah, I feel like that should be like the amount that every writer should be given.
Yeah,
Because
like,
10 years, man, that's
or at least
excessive.
like they finish whatever big story they set up. Should be like their end.
Yeah, because Marvel has a very big problem of canceling issues after like 2.
Yeah.
I'm looking
So
at you, Future Foundation. I'm
uh,
sorry.
they didn't even give that a chance. It's
No,
sad.
they issue 1 released and they looked at the pre-orders for issue 2 and it's like not good enough, you're done.
And it just sucks because like the way things are, piracy with comics, which Donny Cates has gone off about, by the way.
Yeah, he had a whole like Twitter rant about it earlier.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him because it's
Oh hell no, I can't.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't blame any creator for being mad that their comics get pirated.
It's just a bad combination of like internet piracy and the fact that Marvel and DC don't really do a whole lot to advertise the comics nowadays.
They do fucking nothing.
Because like
They give out solicitations and that's it.
like I've been learning. I'm in a comic studies class and I've been learning about the history of comics in America. It's not the 80s and 90s anymore where you can rely on the direct market system where it's like comic shops that like they directly distribute to, because those are kind of those are not easy to come by nowadays.
They're really not.
And like and they pulled them from supermarkets and Barnes and Noble. I mean, not the trades, but like
Just the regular issues, which are the ones that are getting canceled over.
Yeah, like if it's this much trouble with issues, why, like, I don't know, this may be bold to say or whatever, but like why even publish issues anymore instead of trade paperbacks?
Yeah,
I don't know.
honestly, I feel like comics have to go the way of the trade, like permanently by some point, because like kids aren't really gonna bother spending like $3-4 every 2 weeks or month on like 20 minutes
Yeah.
of reading. Like,
It's just like trades are a lot easier to collect. They're a lot neater. Like they have spines so you can tell like what issue you're what comic you're pulling out. Like the only reason I get individual issues is if it's an issue I really love and want to keep, or if it's like a cool variant cover I want to have.
yeah,
Or if it's like something I feel like is going to be very sought after very soon. But
yeah, the only individual issues I've been getting for like the past year are for books that I'm currently following.
yeah, even then I don't do that. But
Yeah.
like it's just, I don't know, it more, if they want to sell more issues, more has to be done, because
Like
yeah,
I had a whole like thread on Twitter the other day about just like there was a Loki comic that just recently got canceled at issue 5, and I just had a whole rant where Marvel on their Twitter literally has nearly 9 million followers and they never talk about comics.
nope.
Like
The only
unless
time they
it's
did,
Spider-Man,
yeah,
they don't give a shit.
the only time they really did anything super big was with the Abrams Spidey, and look what's happened with that.
Yeah, like 11 weeks of delays.
Oh God, but
That is terrible. I'm
yeah,
sorry. That kills a book.
it really does. But
Yeah, God, it just reminds me of Shazam over at DC, and then I get even more sad.
Doomsday Clock too.
Fuck.
Doomsday Clock was supposed to end like a year ago.
It was, and Jeff Johns, I love you, man, but you stretch yourself way too thin.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. But back on topic, Absolute Carnage 5 it's a good climax, but not a good ending. So I don't know how it's going to be in the trade. I don't know if they're going to collect the issues of Venom that go along with it, because the issues of Venom, they're kind of a side story, but they're part of the main story, essentially. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what the plan is at this point, but
Like that's why I don't get like when trades for events don't include tie-in issues, because it's like, what if the tie-in issues have like big like explanations for the story? What are you gonna do then? I don't.
yeah, like in Venom where they had to explain what happened to Maker. Oh, he
What?
got possessed by
Yeah.
the by for the symbiotes and became a hybrid and tried to kill the kids.
What happened to Dylan? Why does he have some weird symbiote powers? I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I think Absolute Carnage is good, and we'll have to get to it at some point to cover it in its entirety. But there is one bit of news that we talked about earlier. Venom 2 started filming. Woohoo! Yay! Knock knock. Let the devil in.
God,
Yeah.
we literally just talked about it right before recording, and I immediately forgot about it.
Yeah, they're filming only 11 months before the movie's supposed to release. That does not bode well. But like at least with like lots of MCU movies, they film a year before they come out. But like 11 months, and when like your movie is involving a big CGI character fighting another CGI character.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
like as someone who is in a computer animation class, you need lots of time to work on that shit.
Yeah.
Like
So
even if you literally just reuse the models you already made, you need a lot of time to render that shit out.
and like the first movie filmed a year in advance, and the CGI not very good. At least in my opinion.
It did, especially towards the end. It felt like late 2000s.
Oh yeah, I'd say early 2000s even. I'd
I
go
wouldn't
that.
go that far.
I don't know. Some shots looked very iffy, but I don't know. It's just. I mean, you can say the same thing for MCU movies. Like, yeah,
totally.
we get it. That Black Panther scene where they're both falling looks like a PS3 game. Yeah, I get it. Woohoo.
Yeah, no, that man, Black Panther got fucked by by that scheduling because I guarantee you, basically all the time and money at that point went straight to Infinity War.
Oh, definitely, without question. But I feel like they're gonna up the budget for the sequel, like absolutely, because it has it has the May slot, and it made $1 billion, so it's gonna get the funding it needs. But Venom 2,
Disney will realize people like this movie. Let's put money into it.
Yeah, Venom 2. I don't know how it's gonna be. I was saying earlier that like I feel like after Venom 2, Sony is gonna overhaul all movies to try to make way for the MCU and to tie in better with the MCU. Because I just don't see the stuff moving beyond Venom 2 because they haven't announced anything beyond Venom 2. So,
well, they have, but no one cares about any of the stuff. Because
I mean, they have, but they haven't announced any dates for them. So
that is true. But yeah, I make fun of this every single time we bring it up, but I just literally they're making fucking a Night Watch and a Jackpot movie.
Yeah, Jackpot. It was like in 12 issues and was only existing because people thought it was going to be Mary Jane, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, she didn't exist for a full fucking year. And meanwhile, Night Watch is just a Spawn ripoff. Which, if his movie gets made before Spawn's, I will laugh my ass off.
Yeah, that whole situation with Spawn is that's interesting.
It is. Fuck. Todd McFarlane doesn't know how a movie is made, but he doesn't care.
Yeah. That's. But yeah, I don't know. Venom 2 might be really laughably bad or fun at least. I don't know. But
I think it'll be fun, at least.
Woody Harrelson's going to be chewing all the fucking scenery, so I'll see it just for that alone.
Oh, without question. And I can't wait to see his Carrot Top wig trying desperately to cling to his head.
Woody Harrelson is just such... I've talked about this before. Woody Harrelson is just not good casting for Cletus Cassidy. I'm sorry, he's just not.
Yeah, I can't see him as Carnage.
He, like, I don't know. I could see him as Toxin. I could definitely see him as Toxin, but not Carnage.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like, I don't know. I don't. Well, we'll have to see. We'll wait till they release another teaser trailer with no footage of Venom or Carnage in it.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see it.
They'll put a V.
So bad.
This time they'll put a V and a C and expect people to know what that means. It was so funny in that trailer that they just put V. Who was supposed to know that?
They really did, didn't they?
It wasn't the white spider emblem. It was just a V. Nobody knew what that meant.
Oh, I hope they bring back Symbiote.
Oh, God. They really went back to ADR to fix that. That was so funny.
They did, and you can tell.
Yeah. God. Okay. Venom 2. That's the thing that's happening. So let's move on to our big special main topic that we are talking about just for all of you because we love you. So all right, have a good night, y'all. Bye. No. Again, I am in a comics history class, so I have credentials when talking about this. After Stan Lee made Fantastic Four, and that was very successful for Marvel or Atlas. I do not remember how when or why they renamed Atlas to Marvel. But
I thought they were timely for some reason.
It was timely at some point, but then they were called Atlas, and then they changed to Marvel. But okay. I don't know when all that was. But anyway, yeah. So Stan Lee had this idea for a teenage superhero called Spider-Man. But so first
he was waiting for Batman.
Yeah. Oh my god. But so first he was going to do it with Jack Kirby, I think. And then he wasn't really getting what he wanted from Kirby, so he went with Steve Ditko, and then the two of them collaborated. If they went with Jack Kirby's design, he would have been like this. He would have looked like Danny DeVito's Spider-Man, but with a gun.
Oh my god.
That was the original idea. I don't know if you've seen that, but
I'm looking it up now.
It's interesting. It's interesting. But
that is the kind of crazy Jack Kirby shit I need to see.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make that the thumbnail. Who knows? But yeah. So Stan Lee wanted this to be his own comic. Martin Goodman.
God! I found it.
You found it?
I found it. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's literally Danny DeVito's Spider-Man.
It really is. It's Danny DeVito's Spider-Man, but not Danny DeVito in the suit, and that's disappointing.
Yeah.
That needs to be in the next Spider-Verse event.
It really does.
He deserves a cameo in the movie.
But yeah, so Stan Lee wanted this to be he wanted it to be its own title. Martin Goodman was totally against it because he thought it would sell terribly because nobody would like the idea of a teenage superhero who was not a sidekick. So he relegated it to the final issue of Amazing Fantasy.
Also, spiders are gross.
Yeah. Was that his reasoning?
I remember Stan mentioning that in like one of the 3 billion interviews he's done. I think it was on like a DVD of the animated series when he was talking about it, probably.
Was it Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels?
Maybe. It's been a while, but I remember him mentioning that like his editor was saying like people aren't going to read this. No one likes spiders.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of 60s things that they'd say.
And then the issue came out, and his editor gave him a call. It's like, "Hey Stan, you remember that great character we made, Spider-Man? Let's make more."
Yeah, that's literally exactly how it went down.
Yeah,
but I can't say Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels without thinking about that commercial from the Spider-Man DVD or VHS or whatever. I don't know. That might be just a me thing, but I have such nostalgia for like that VHS and the previews before it. There's YouTube channels dedicated to like those like ripped from VHSs all the for it, and I just don't know why. Wait, Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. I thought you cut out for a second. We lost you, but
oh god, hopefully we don't have a repeat of that from last time.
Oh god, but yeah, no, I can't say that title without thinking. If any of you know what I'm talking about, then you know you're a trooper. But anyway, as you said, it sold like it published in Amazing Fantasy 15, which funny enough is not the only story on Amazing Fantasy 15. I found that out today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like 3 other stories on Amazing Fantasy 15. It's just that Spider-Man is like the main one. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read them. I didn't read them because it's not.
I didn't know they existed till you mentioned them.
Yeah, I just read it on Marvel Unlimited earlier today, and I was like, oh, there's 3 others. Every copy of Amazing 15 I've ever read was just Spider-Man, so I don't know where these other ones came from. But anyway, yeah, so they published it, and then it sold like fucking crazy. And then, as you said, Martin Goodman was like, hey, remember that great idea that I loved called Spider-Man? Let's do it.
Let's give him his own book.
Yeah, and then that sold like crazy. But what we want to talk about is we want to talk about Amazing itself, which is, as you all know, it's the origin story for Spider-Man. It's showing that he's basically an incel in high school.
Yeah, let's go through this one more time.
Oh my god. All right, folks, let's do this one last time. My name is Peter Parker. I'm an incel in high school. God.
He really is, though.
He can't, like, literally there's a scene where he gets rejected by being a nerd. And she's like, not when there's big, hunky, handsome men like Flash around.
Yeah, and then you see Flash in that panel, and he's wearing a red and black sweater with a big T on it.
It's literally like the Chad Flash and the Virgin Peter Parker.
It really is.
History is a funny way of just like repeating itself in our time in very strange ways. But anyway, so you all know the story. Peter is a nerd, is kind of pissed at the world, gets bitten by the spider, does some wrestling, does some TV, gets more egotistical, lets a burglar go. Then the burglar goes pow pow to Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben is dead off screen.
Yeah,
because of the comics code, we can't defy the comics code authority because that'll be around for a long time. But anyway, so Peter tracks down the killer, finds out the killer was Uncle Ben, was the guy who he let go. He's like, oh no, I'm a bad person. Now with great power comes great responsibility, which Uncle Ben did not tell him. That was a retcon. That was a retcon.
Yeah, Uncle Ben never once says the words power or responsibility once.
Not until like later years where they retconned it to words. So
yeah, which I understand why that was done, but I kind of like the idea of Peter making the lesson on his own.
Yeah, like I totally love that. Ben just saying, with great power comes great responsibility. I read that in a fortune cookie. I don't know what it means, but you should know that.
Yeah, but Uncle Ben himself appears for like 2, maybe 3 panels in the entire book.
What would Uncle Ben even know? What is he talking about with great power? Like, what would he know about Peter having great power?
Yeah, I don't understand. I love the speech to death, but it really doesn't make that much sense with like real life application.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I've been reading Miles's current solo recently because I stopped reading his book like years ago because they brought back Ultimate Peter in the dumbest way possible.
Oh yeah, I saw about that. That was at the
Yeah,
end of Spider-Man 2, right?
maybe I don't really remember because like I said, this was like years ago at this point.
Yeah.
But trying to think like in his current book, Miles brings up the great power, great responsibility thing, like Peter told him to him, and he's like, I don't really know if I have great power, but I do what I can. Like I'm trying to think of what the exact wording behind it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the issue because I got it
Okay.
in here somewhere.
But yeah, it's a very poetic saying, and I just don't know if Ben would be the guy to say that. I honestly like how they did it in Ultimate, where it's more realistic, and Ben emphasizes responsibility, not
Yeah,
great
yeah, he
power,
barely
but
says power, he says
yeah.
responsibility.
And
Okay,
then they
okay,
pull.
you go.
Oh, sorry. Oh no, you go ahead. You found it.
Okay, yeah, I found it says well, I don't know if I have great power. I'm not Captain Marvel or Thor, but I use what I have to be responsible for as much as I can. Some days that's enough.
And that's a good sentiment.
Yeah, that is a very good like spin on the great power, great responsibility
Yeah.
speech.
I don't like it. Like, it's funny. I've talked about this before on the podcast, but it's so funny to me. The moment in Amazing Spider-Man with the power and responsibility and Peter storming out is literally word for word from the Ultimate comics, and people were like, "What the fuck? Why did they change it from the Raimi movies? What's this?" I'm like, I was literally like the only one in the audience who probably read that, and I was like, "It's literally from Ultimate Spider-Man."
Much like 90% of that movie.
That's why it should have been called Ultimate Spider-Man. But anyway,
Maybe
it's
the
weird.
next reboot.
Yeah, it's weird. Recently, I've realized like how much the Ring movies borrowed from Ultimate Spider-Man when it literally started a year before production, or literally in like the same year of production. It's
Yeah,
so
they
weird.
definitely came out around the same time.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's weird. Like literally MJ being his next door neighbor, Harry being his best friend in high school, Green Goblin being his first villain, yeah, so on and so forth.
It's Ultimate Spider-Man, but with the '60s Spider-Man tone.
Yeah, that's what I'd say about it. But yeah, back to Amazing Fantasy 15. It like looking back on it, it's really interesting reading this and being like, wow, this spawned a freaking phenomenon. Like this had so much impact on our culture. Like, imagine if Amazing Fantasy 15 never happened.
I'd be dead. I would
Honestly,
just
yeah.
cease to exist.
Like, it's just so weird to think about because, like, that is because of that one issue. There have been so many comics, so many shows, so many games, so many movies, and like comics would not be what they are today without that. I don't think without Amazing Fantasy 15.
Oh, definitely not.
Cause like it's the quintessential origin story. I think.
Without a doubt, it's definitely one of, if not the strongest origin story for a superhero of that era.
Yeah, like it. Like yeah, it's definitely dated. And Peter, despite being 15, looks like he's a 45-year-old man.
Yeah, like I brought up Flash Thompson and his terrific T sweater earlier, and he's supposed to be the cool guy.
Yeah, like Peter as a widow's peak at 15. I'm like, you're gonna be bald soon, bud.
Yeah.
I'm 20 and I have a widow's peak, and my hairline is thinning, and I'm going to be bald before I'm 30. I know it. But anyway, somebody recommend some good shampoo to me so this doesn't happen, because all I use is Head and Shoulders, and I know that's not good. But anyway, it's so weird because I remember reading Amazing when I was like very, very young, and reading it again, I'm like remembering these things that I've seen from like reading it when I was like maybe like 5 years old, and it's just like, God, wow. The Spider-Man came from this like one offshoot issue that was literally. Sorry, there's crime. Hold on a sec. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that siren?
I definitely heard it.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I live right next to a hospital, so I have ambulances.
There you go.
I have ambulances coming and going. That's why the apartment was so cheap. But anyway, no, like it's also interesting because like the episode that tells Peter's origin from the 90s animated series is literally nearly like an exact copy of Amazing Fantasy 15.
It is almost note for note the same.
Like the scene where Flash and Liz are blowing Peter off, speeding off in the car. The scene where Peter's crawling up the wall and he crushes the pipe with his own hands. And when he finds out Uncle Ben's been shot off screen.
Yeah. Do you think he used a laser gun to do it?
I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved to have seen Uncle Ben get shot through the heart with a laser gun.
God, that would have been hilarious.
Imagine if we lived in a world where cops had laser guns.
That'd be awesome.
I would love, like, laser guns have to be more deadly than fucking regular guns.
Like, I love the 90s cartoon to death, but I never get tired of like these old school like beat cops pulling out these fucking high-tech laser guns with little scopes on them.
It's so funny. It's so, oh my God.
And they make like cocking noises whenever they pull them out too.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that work?
I don't know. God. The 90s were an interesting time. They were a very, very interesting time.
Yeah, don't read the comics, just watch the cartoons. Those are the good bits.
Yeah. Who cares about comics anyway?
No one, not Marvel.
Not Marvel, not DC.
As we've mentioned before.
Oh God. But when was the first time you read Amazing Fantasy 15, if you can remember?
I want to say like the first time I actually read it for myself was probably when I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because like we just brought up how no one cares about comics. It took me a while to really start getting into them. So
yeah, me too.
I mostly just stuck with the cartoons and movies up to that point. It wasn't until I was like 13 I finally started to like read.
Yeah. My aunt like actually sent me like every month or so, she sent me like a classic issue from the Lee Ditko era. And like I don't have them anymore. I really wish I did. But like they were probably reprinted issues, but how cool would it have been if like they were like actually issues from the 60s that she sent me? But like those like were the things I started reading, and then Ultimate Spider-Man I was all in on because it was easily accessible, and it's not like I had a whole crap ton of history to go through. But but anyway, yeah, like it. I don't know, like it's funny because I actually have a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15. It's like a very reprinted one, but it's like the way I got it is because I have I'm just apologizing for every bodily sound I make. But like I have this Spider-Man DVD gift set from 2002. I somehow got it totally new, like sealed for only $20 on eBay. I don't know how, but somebody was selling it for only $20 on eBay, and it was brand new. And it came with the Spider-Man DVD. It came with Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels. It came with a piece of art done by both of the Romitas. It came with a Cenotype of the film, and it came with a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15. I do not dare open that. It's in wrapping. I do not dare open that. I know it's just a reprinted copy from 2002. I don't care. I do not open that thing. That's precious to me. I'm not doing it. But yeah, no, like that's the one I have, and even though it's not from the 60s, it's still cool that I have that, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't. I think the only copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 I own anymore is the one on Comixology I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I have one pulled up on Marvel Unlimited right now. One thing that's interesting, one thing I wanted to say, what, like, you know how, like, there's that cop who, like, clearly sees Spider-Man, he's like, you could have stopped that guy, or whatever. And Peter's like, no, I'm just looking out for number one. And, like, what if, like, that cop just stumbled upon him again one day? It was like, hey, I know you. You're that asshole who let that criminal go who killed Ben Parker.
I wouldn't be shocked if that was a comic at one point.
I've never
to see
heard
that story. Though.
I've never heard about it. Like, and
I would love to see that story.
Yeah, like that would be really interesting. And like I know, like I'm one who believes like mulling over Ben's death a lot is like so repetitive, but looking at it from like 100%. A different aspect would be really interesting. Like through the eyes of this cop, because this cop wasn't just like at the show, he was also like at the scene of the crime when Ben died, and he chased down the killer too. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if like he's still alive because he was an old dude. But
he is a very old man.
Yeah, but it would be a really story if like he comes back and he's like, "Hey, you let Ben Parker die." I know. I've been thinking about that for the past 10 years or whatever. How I'm supposed to be alive for.
It's all I've thought about for the past 10 years.
Oh god. But
man, time in comics is fucking bullshit.
It really is. I don't know. I don't know any. Why do they have to have this mandate to keep Peter young? I don't get it.
He should be in his 30s by now.
He should be a dad. He should be a dad.
Well, he should have been a dad long ago, but probably never getting that.
MJ had in
every alternate timeline, but we will never get it in the main book.
The closest time to happen, MJ had a miscarriage, and that was.
Ugh.
Oh god.
Fucking 90s. Why?
I don't know, but yeah, it's. I don't know. That would be an interesting story to do, but there's lots of aspects about Amazing Fantasy 15 that are dated, like without a doubt.
Oh, that's just inescapable with these stories.
Like, I think one of my favorite panels is when Peter's like, when he's talking to Ben and May, he's like, "You two are the best family any fella could ever have." I'm like, so that's so 60s.
Yeah.
And he's like, the rest of the world can go hang for all like.
So okay, slow down, buddy.
Slow down there, Buckaroo. Have you seen that? Have you seen that video on Twitter?
I think I have.
It's like this guy putting this Uzi together, and then he just pops a bullet into like the slot. Then he cocks and he's like, "Slow down there, Buckaroo." That's my favorite. That's my favorite. But yeah. What else is there to talk about? Oh, I love how Peter just literally invents the webbing like super quick.
Right? He made it in no time at all.
Just 2 panels, like, oh, there's his costume. 2 panels. Oh, there's his webbing. Okay. What else? What? I don't know.
Yeah, like he literally, to disguise himself for the wrestling match, he just made like a net around his face.
And people were like, oh, Peter could easily make the costume. Well, they had only like 11 pages to the story. Of course he would.
Yeah, which I'm glad future iterations like Ultimate and the Raimi movies and stuff would have like the prototype costume stuff.
Yeah.
To come right before, and then over time he builds the better one.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing because like Spider-Man's costume, you cannot evoke like him making it without it looking crappy. But the thing is that would not look good on film. So
yeah,
like just a regular spandex suit would not really fly well on film, I don't think.
I think it can be done. I mean, you see crazy shit that cosplayers can make nowadays. I think it could be done.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's Peter would have to take a lot of time to learn how to sew, but I don't know. It's comics. We don't question realism.
I don't really. When it comes to stuff like that, I don't care much about like how good can this like 15-year-old sew a spandex suit or whatever.
Yeah. Anytime I think about that stuff, like I do, just it's really the dumbest shit to complain about.
Yeah, it's just that's where suspension of disbelief kicks in, and it's like,
yeah,
don't worry, this kid's just a really good costume designer.
Yeah, but who knows? I don't know. Like, it would be like what's interesting is that like years later they did like Amazing Fantasy 16, 17, 18 to show like this is what Peter's first adventures were between Amazing Fantasy 15 and Amazing Spider-Man #1. We should do an episode on those. I didn't think about them at all, but we should.
I will look those up then. I didn't know about those.
Yeah, I don't know when they were published, but it's interesting. Like it was years and years later, but
I have no doubt it was long after.
Yeah.
There's I found the Amazing Fantasy one with Anya.
Yeah, that from like 2004.
Yeah, 2004 to 2006.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Yeah, I still need to read that one. I haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, it's this one from 1995 to 1996. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's like Paul Lee worked on it. I don't know, but yeah, no, like those would be interesting to cover. December 1995, June 6, and March 1996. But it's only 3 issues, just 16, 17, and 18. Yeah, but yeah, no, that would be an interesting one to cover. But yeah, no, Amazing Fantasy 15 is just such an influential piece of pop culture because it's been referenced in so many things, and like I've been super lucky because like my school that I'm going to has like a comics exhibit where it's been given like the biggest collection of comics ever, and they have they have like one of the most pristine copies of Amazing Fantasy 15. Oh, sorry. One of the most pristine copies of Amazing Fantasy from the 60s. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hold it. I wouldn't want to.
Well, I figured they had it in like a glass case or something.
Oh yeah, I won't be surprised if somebody smashes the glass and steals it because.
Oh, I have no doubt that someone's gonna try to take it.
We're at a school where there's a bunch of broke kids. It's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah,
but
so like every college.
Yeah, but no, it's interesting. And really cool to see. This whole podcast has just been me saying, "Oh, it's cool, it's interesting, it's cool," but it is. It's really like cool to read and be like, this is what spawned a massive worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, this is the beginning of probably the most well-known superhero of all time.
I'd argue like the most well-known character of all.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument to be had about it.
The only rival is Mickey Mouse, and like I don't know, just Mickey Mouse. But anyway, but yeah, no, like I would love, like, I know that they don't want to touch the origin just yet for MCU Spider-Man, but I'd love to see them do something like that, to like do Amazing Fantasy 15 almost like word for word.
Oh, I would love it if they ever do an origin, they definitely go all in on it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying we have to like see the whole origin, but I'd like to touch on it a bit.
Yeah. Because I feel like they made the correct move of skipping over the origin initially, because we already had 2 whole movie franchises about it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
But I would like to go back to it at some point.
Yeah. So, who knows? Like, I feel like in Spidey 3 we're going to get something, but we'll see.
At the very least, I feel like this is the one where they're finally going to like mention Uncle Ben by name.
Definitely. Especially if they do a buried alive.
Yeah, like if they're not going to do it next movie, I don't think they're ever going to do it. I'm just going to say that now.
Yeah, if it's not done the next movie, which I'm not adverse to, but
yeah,
you know,
like we mentioned in this episode, Uncle Ben is in Amazing Fantasy 15 for 4 panels before he gets shot off page.
Yeah.
So it like he's important. Don't get me wrong, but I don't really need him.
Like my thing is, it's not Ben who's important. Die. That he's responsible for a loved one's death. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
So that's why it angers me when I saw like a different universe thing where it's like Aunt May died instead, but Peter just became a selfish movie star because Uncle Ben is the big important one. And I'm just
that what the fuck? That's
I don't like that.
Who the fuck wrote that? That's terrible.
I don't know. I saw about it and I'm like, nope, no bueno. That would not happen.
Yeah, no, that is not Spider-Man.
But yeah, I think we have said all we could say on this one, because there's not a whole lot to talk about, but
it's only 11 pages.
Yeah, but it's nice to talk about like how much of an impact this has had on superheroes, on comics, on our pop culture, and so on and so forth. It's nice to look back on this stuff and be like, this is where it all began.
Yeah, but it's very humble.
Yeah, so
also this is before they added the hyphen to Spider-Man's name so people would stop confusing it for Superman.
They added it on the front page, but in the actual pages, there's no hyphen.
Yeah, no. Well, excuse me. It's very confusing. My
bodily sounds are passed on to you. But
oh joy.
Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for being on this 20 episodes. We are just getting started. There'll be much more to come. But once again, my name is Alec. You can follow me at the Alec Thorne on Twitter.
And I'm Brian. You can follow me at Redo Reviews on Twitter.
And if you want to follow the podcast, you can follow at LOTE_podcast on Twitter. If you want to follow on Comics Ground, you can follow on Comics Ground on Twitter. And if you want to go to our website, we post daily reviews, news, editorials, and all that jazz. So, once again, thank you all so much for joining us for all these episodes. Thank you for tuning into this one. And we will see you. Well, not see you, but y'all will hear us in the next episode. Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye. That's